Hello and welcome to another Purveyor of Light Photoshop Quick Tip. Today we're going to be dealing with an artistic technique, one that I think you may find useful in your everyday photography. The one thing we've learned as photographers is cropping is just so important to our image. How we crop an image actually changes the communication of what we're saying in the image. If you look at the portrait I have up here, okay, this is a square crop, and this is one of my preferred crops because it gives more environmental 3D depth. It's, in my opinion, a more aesthetic, pleasing frame, okay, and I think it adds a lot in the certain situations. Okay, so what we're going to teach you today is how to take pictures like this, okay, that are framed normally as they come out of the camera, okay, and we're going to turn them into a nice square crop, okay. And so in order to do this, we're going to actually work with the crop tool, add more canvas, and then we're going to actually have to make parts of the photo that don't exist and make them exist so that we can put them into a square format. And I think you're going to really like the results, because I do really believe that you could take an image like this, okay, and with its normal out-of-camera cropping, I think you could really, really add it to a next dimension. So let's go ahead and jump right in and let's get started. Now, there'll be a couple different methods that I'll teach you here, and that's because not one method will work on all photos. So I'm going to teach you just a couple methods, and with those couple methods, you'll be able to handle just about any photo you come across. All right, so now we've got this ballerina. So the first thing I need to do is I need to get a square crop and a ratio of 1:1, and you can see that I have a choice, okay? I have a choice. I can put her hands in and crop her feet out, or I can bring her feet in and crop her hands off. There's no other way using the existing photo to be able to do this, okay? So what I'm going to do, okay, is I'm going to crop, and I'm going to add and expand the canvas, okay? And then after I expand it, then I'm going to actually fill in the missing bits and parts of the photo that don't exist so that we have a complete image, all right? So it's a cool technique, can be used for a lot of things, and so let's go ahead and do it. So if I pick the crop tool and I have my ratio, I go, okay, I'm going to expand the canvas, and I'm going to make sure my snap is on. Yes, it is. Okay, so I want to come to a side. I'm going to hit the Alt or Option key and hold that down while I'm dragging, and that'll cause it to drag out evenly on the image. And now you can see on both sides I have transparent borders, so I've expanded the actual canvas, and so I accept that, and now I have parts of the photo just totally blank. And what we want to do now is take these areas and fill them in so I have a complete picture. So we're going to go ahead and go in and take the rectangular selection tool. Now I want to cut into the photo a little bit, okay? So I'm going to come in. I want to guide. I want to cut in and go a little bit further than what I want, okay? And then I'm going to hold the Shift key and cut in a little bit. And so I have both sides selected. Okay. So now with both sides selected, and I've cut into the background a little bit. That's mainly because I don't want to have any seams seen in the picture. I want to cut in a little bit so everything blends. So I'm going to go up to File, and then I'm going to go to Edit, and Content Aware Fill. So Photoshop's going to do some calculations, and it's showing me here anything in green. It's going to try to take that information and then build the background. And you can see right there, that's exactly what Photoshop did. Okay, using the information in green, it then said, let me try to calculate and fill the photo. So we hit OK. Photoshop did a really nice job. Okay, and if these take a little bit, it'll be depending on your photo, because how higher resolution, these are incredibly high resolution photos, so it takes a little bit to calculate, especially on the content aware fill. So, okay, it's taking its time. Wow, I don't think Photoshop has taken this long ever. So, I guess I have to tell some jokes. Anybody from out of town? There we go. Okay, so Photoshop's done. I hit Command or Control D to deselect, and I have a completed photo. Okay. The normal crop, and everything looks wonderful. So that's method 1. All right, so now I come into the next photo here, and again, we're going to use the exact same technique. And so I am going to take the crop tool with a 1:1 ratio. I am then going to hold the Alt or Option key, drag out until I fill to the photo. Okay, and now I have the empty borders on the side, and I'm going to try to do the exact same thing using the rectangular selection tool. I'm going to come in and cut in a little bit on that, hold the Shift key down, and do the selection on the right side as well. Okay, now with both sides selected, I'm going to use Edit and Content Aware Fill. And Photoshop's going to do its calculations. And again, anything in green is what Photoshop will use to try to interpret. And again, Photoshop has done a very nice job. So I'll hit OK. And we will wait for Photoshop to do its calculations. And I do apologize because I should have down-res these images because they're such high res. But there we go. Okay, and so then we've got a nice aesthetic there. And so let's do this again now. We're coming up on a harder image, but I'm going to go ahead and do the same technique, okay? Because you never know what's going to work and what's not going to work. But I can tell you already this image will not work. But it enables me to teach you an alternate method. Okay, so I'm going to again expand, hold the Option or Alt key, expand it out. And now I have my borders, commit the crop, take my rectangular tool, and again, cut in, and you know what I did? Made a mistake. No big deal, but I didn't hold the Shift key down when I did it. So I got to redo that side. Always remember you got to hold the Shift key down to add to your selection. So now I have both sides selected. And again, we're going to go up to Edit, Content Aware Fill. And we're going to let Photoshop do its calculations. But because this is a busier photo and the background is not quite as clear, we can see we've got some problems. In the preview here, it's saying we've got repeating patterns here. Same thing here. Look at the back wall here. Well, we've lost a portion of the floor. It's not working. And we could try to say, okay, well, let's try to clear this up. It's taking it from here, so let's remove some of the green here and see if we can fix that. Let's see what it calculates. And it did a little better, but it still doesn't look good. And I got a repeating pattern on the left. And so if I take some of that out, I'm trying to make it out, but I already know that no matter what I do, I'm just not going to be able to fix this one. Okay, and you can see I now just have a big mess. Okay, and so this method will not work with this particular photo because there's too much going on. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel it. All right, so now I'm going to deselect the photo because we have to use another method. And that is we need to use content aware scale. All right, and that's different than content aware fill. Scale is going to let us take some of the empty areas of the photo and then stretch them. Okay, so if I were to turn around and just stretch the thing, okay, Command and Control T, right? If I were to try to do that, you would see that I'm expanding the whole image. And if I start doing that, I could, sit there and I make her fat. And if I do this, I'm getting everything distorted. Okay? So what I need to do is I need to tell Photoshop, hey, I need to protect some areas of the photo that you don't touch and don't stretch anything when I try to stretch the canvas. All right? So we do that by using channels. Okay? Not hard at all. It's just an extra step we have to go through. So we're going to go into channels, and this is your RGB red, green, and blue channels. Okay? And we're going to use these to make an area identified as protect. Okay, so we're just going to use a tool here. Let's see what I got here. I'm going to use the lasso tool, and I'm going to protect the areas I want protected. So I am going to go around the ladder, and again, this is not a thing. I'm just going for areas that I need to protect, right? And I need to protect around her. And again, make sure I don't cut into the shadows. And around. So now I have a rough lasso around her and the ladder. And so what I'm going to do now is go into my channels, and I'm going to say, to make a new layer here with that selection. So I select that, and you can see now I have Alpha 1 made. All right. And that's going to be saying anything within this lassoed area is what I want protected. Okay. So Alpha 1 is the channel. So all you have to remember is the name of it. And we go back to the image, and we can deselect and go to our image. So we're going to then go in here to File, and we are going to Edit and Content Aware Scale. Okay, that's different than Content Aware Fill. So Content Aware Scale, and again, if I were to turn around and attempt to do this, I would distort her, the ladder, and so forth. I need to protect it. So I come up here to the top where it says Protect. Okay, and this is where I tell Photoshop, hey, take this layer, Alpha 1, okay, and I want you to protect anything in Alpha 1. You can't touch anything in Alpha 1. And that's what we're telling Photoshop. Now, when we drag, Photoshop is not moving. I'm going to undo that because I didn't hold. I'm going to hold the Shift key down. And I'm going to stretch. And you can see the ladder and her are not distorted. And again, hold the Shift key down. And, okay, now we're getting a little distortion on her. Okay. So we're going to go this far because we've extended it on the left side of the canvas, and we'll hit commit to that. And we need to protect it again a little bit better. So I'm going to go up to the channel, and I am going to just protect her this time. Oh. And I'm going to come in a little closer on her, protecting the shadows. And now I've got a protected thing there. I'm going to break a new alpha channel by clicking here. And now I have alpha 2. Okay. So now that I have alpha 2, I can hit Command and Control D to deselect. And I am then again going to go to Edit, Content Aware Scale again. Again, I'm going to give it the new alpha we made, alpha 2. And I am going to now drag. Let's see here. Dink. Hold the Shift key. I don't know why I am constantly making the mistake of not holding the Shift key today. And you can see we're not distorting her. And there we are. We've committed there. And we now have reframed this image without distorting the ladder or her. Okay. And now we have our image completely reframed. All right. So there we go. We've done it with a multitude of images. Okay. And I think if you remember where we started, okay, that you're going to make your images more interesting, okay, by changing the crop. And again, it's a technique that you can always keep in your toolbox when you need to within Photoshop. So there you go. There you have two different ways of actually expanding and filling the canvas in parts of the photo that don't even exist. So there you go. Hopefully you found this useful. And till next week, you guys take care.